Hello, Dave.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay,
Hi,
oh, that's why.
Lynn.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Good.
Personal business in the next 10 seconds. Anne is stopping by the seafood place on her way home tomorrow and would be delighted to pick you up a side of grilled salmon. Does that sound good?
Uh, Probably not. I
Oh,
think,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
I think we'll sort of pass on that
Okay.
just this time. So
Okay.
thank you.
Super. All right. I heard you guys are getting over colds.
We're kind of deeply involved, deeply committed.
Yeah, deeply
Yeah,
committed.
I think Jeffrey's had a relapse. So
Oh, poor
anyway,
thing. Okay.
anyway. Well, we've got quite a group on tonight. Let me see. Shall we? I'd like to call this meeting to order, but in order for me to do that, I need to have representations of our committee. So,
Looks like just the three of us so far, no?
Ellen, can you hear me?
I
Yeah.
can hear you now. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can. So you're joining, and I thought I
Oh, there's
just saw
Austin.
Austin.
I see Austin.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm Lynn Spencer. I am chairman of the Community Preservation Committee, and I am calling this meeting to order at 7:03 on Tuesday, December 2nd. Meeting by Zoom. Attending on behalf of the committee tonight. Let me start with you, Paul. Do you want to just call
Sure,
out
Paul
names
Spurn,
and representation?
I'm a member at large.
Dave?
Dave Wilson, I'm representing the housing, Nahant Housing.
Okay. Austin?
Austin Antrim, member at large.
Ellen?
Hi, I'm Ellen Goldberg, member at large.
Okay. And I, as chair, Lynn Spencer, represent the Historical Commission. Apologies for the cold. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving.
Yep, hope you did too.
Sure did. All right, so I apologize for having just done this, but I sent out minutes ago from the meeting of December 21st. Who has screen capacity tonight?
I can do that.
Okay.
Let me just get it up here.
Do you want to put the minutes on the screen?
I'm gonna try. All right, so let's see. So the first thing I gotta do is I have to find your email. All mail. Let's see. No, that's not it. Let me
There we
do
go.
it
I've
this
got
way.
them. I put them up on the screen already, Paul.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Good for you,
Yep.
Ellen.
You are
Thank you.
great. You're great to do that. Thank you so much, Ellen.
She's a whiz bang.
I haven't read them yet, but I'll read
Well,
them now with
let's
everybody
read
else.
them together.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Yeah.
If you could just scan it so the committee could read it.
Okay, I think you need to scroll down for us.
Oh, I see the typos, so thank you. So I see that Ellen has flagged 2 typos. Any other comments on the meetings, on the minutes from the committee?
Straightened is spelled correctly.
I thought it was,
Yeah,
but registries is not.
I have no idea how you spell registries.
It should just be registry. And it should be capitalized. Which I can do on my version.
Oh, registry singular.
Yeah, registry
Oh,
of
got
deeds.
it. Okay.
Well, there are
I
registries.
thought straightened has a G. Straightened
No,
is
this is
G.
straightened, straightened circumstances versus, you know,
Economic straits, narrow
economic straits.
passageways.
Okay, I was a little unclear on that one, so okay, a little too esoteric for me.
But the registry is definitely off, so.
Yeah, that should be registry singular, I believe,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No,
yeah,
it should be, it's actually pure plural because we have various registries of deeds.
We do? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
all kinds of them.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought there was
Every
only
county
one.
has one.
Got it. Okay.
Middlesex, Essex, Suffolk, all of
All
that.
right, all right. Okay.
So
Got it.
I'll fix that,
All right.
those 2.
So as amended, I propose we accept these minutes.
Second.
this is Ellen, I second that.
Okay. I'll do a roll call on that.
Yeah.
Paul,
Yes.
Dave,
I,
Austin,
Aye.
Ellen.
Hi.
Okay, now the minutes also had the table as part of it.
Oh,
Do
okay.
you just want to flash that up on the screen as well? I think we should have just, for the record, flash that up there as well, but
Yep, give me just a sec.
okay.
I'm just downloading it now. I mean, I had the original, but I'm gonna, in case any changes were made, I am going to show my screen again. Here we are. So this is what we worked on last week.
And I think what we'll do is keep this up on the screen
Okay,
because it will be a good guide for the meeting tonight.
okay. Do you want me to save it as a new document for tonight? So in case we make any notes, we have a new version?
Yes, I think that would make sense, Ellen.
Okay, I'm gonna pause my screen so you don't have to suffer while I save to a file location.
Okay.
Uh,
Lynn, am I right that we probably won't be using the 7 columns on the right tonight?
That's true. So we could actually
We could make it
switch
bigger
over
then.
and make it bigger.
Yep.
Yep, give me, I wanna just,
Only if
get
you want
my-
me to
I
be
wanna-
able to see it. Yeah.
I know. It is kind of wobbly.
yeah.
This is
I just wanna save
for
it
the
as a new
benefit of
file.
but for the benefit of our listeners, this is the table that sort of summarized the eligibility applications that were received for our November 21st deadline. The notes in red were added during the meeting on the 21st to sort of record the committee's deliberations. When an applicant has given the green light to go ahead with a full application, then the rest of those sort of columns will get filled in as we review the full applications. But we
Can I
have
ask for
not-
another clarification here? I went to the town website tonight for looking for other things.
Yep,
And when I looked up CPC application, I didn't get the final application. I got the preliminary application, I think. It's not clear what it is.
You are correct. Things are a bit funky on the town website, I will say. I agree. And Lynn and I thought we discussed it by email, we need to make some changes, I think, for people to be able to find those things more easily. I will say that for the people who were approved, who we approved at the last meeting, I emailed them directly and included a link to the online application that is current.
which
So
was great,
they
Ellen.
have,
Thank you.
they have the way to proceed, but you are right. It is not, the navigation is muddled right now. I agree.
So here's what I was thinking. If we want to make sure that everyone who submits a final application has gone through the vetting process of the preliminary application, then indeed, the only one that should be available, open to the public, should be the preliminary. And if they
That's
pass,
interesting. You're right.
yeah, if they pass that qualification, then they should
Then they get the link.
a link that is limited in access to
That's
filling
not
in
bad,
a
Paul.
formal application. That's the way you
Yeah.
put teeth in that plan.
That's not bad. I mean, I do think it's useful to show people what a full application looks like so they know what they're getting into.
Yes, that's a good point. Very good.
Beforehand. You know, so it is useful. Like somebody who's going to be like, well, is this like going to, how many hours is this going to take me? Is this like a thesis or is this, you know, an essay, you know?
Right.
But that's not bad. That's good thinking. I
Ellen, you look so surprised.
I don't know.
Sometimes I come up. Well, you give enough monkeys enough
That's really good.
typewriters.
That's a really good, yeah, like, yeah, we're going to throw a couple typewriters in your way. No, that's a really, it's true. It's true. I mean, you know, we as a nonprofit, my organization, you know, you don't get the grant link unless they're inviting you to apply. But Lynn has done these way more than anybody. So what have you seen in other towns, Lynn?
Well, I usually see both. And
Right.
I think, and I will say, I think given the fact that, you know, we want to actually be clear and open to everyone, why not show both? But I do think the navigation on the town website is not as easy and clear as it should be. And my question is,
Right.
how can we best address that? I know you've been working with Kristen at the website, the webmaster.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I'll be honest, I think me and somebody else or just me or whoever wants to could just take a look at it and make a proposal, make a recommendation for how to fix it. It shouldn't be that complicated. You should be able to go, in my mind, you go to the community preservation page and then all of the information that you need should be there, and ways to jump around to all the things should be there. So an explanation of the grant process, including the preliminary process and the application for the full one, any supplemental material, it should all be available on that one page. And even like this forms and links thing that they had on the right sidebar, I'm not looking at it now, I'm just remembering, you know, that was not as intuitive to me either. You know, I felt that we could simplify things actually. So, you know, I am totally tied up this entire week. I've had managing a 2-day conference and an all-day in-person board meeting. But I could take a look at it this weekend and then make a proposal.
Well, I have to say, Ellen, you have a wonderful grasp of this process. And
Yeah.
you've been working with Kristen, and I'm Kristen Webmaster. And I have to say, I would really appreciate it if you could sort of continue to sort of take that on. But I found the whole thing very confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ellen,
I mean,
can
once
I,
you're where you need to go, it's fine. But
Ellen,
trying
can
to
I,
find
can
where you
I,
need-
can I
Yeah, go
work
ahead.
with you on this? I'd love to do that.
Yeah, yeah, great. Are you around this weekend? Can we talk then?
Yeah, God willing, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Wow, that would be very, very, very helpful. And guess what?
We'll
I
make
will
a-
continue to take the minutes while you guys go diving down that, diving into that pool.
Well,
Okay,
that's
All
a
right,
deal.
we'll connect sometime this weekend then.
Yes.
And also, if anybody has trouble hearing me, can you? I ran my AirPods through the washing machine last week, and my daughter said they sounded not good, but I thought I'd test it out and see if I really need to keep the new pair that I bought. I'd rather not keep them, but I will if I have to. Just let me know if it sounds like reasonable.
It's
I've never done
understandable.
anything like. Okay.
It's
Thank you.
understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
I-
things get
I-
worse, I would prefer to know.
Right. Ellen, I get $6 earpods from Temu or AliExpress, and I have
Oh
put
my
both
God.
of them, I put both of them through the washing machine and they come through just fine.
what is it
Wow.
with you guys in the washing machine? Come on. All
Well,
right,
if you have,
I've never
right.
done this before.
never
Okay.
mind. All right.
First time
Sorry.
for me.
Sorry, Lynn.
I'm going to move
Thank
this
you.
on
Yes.
from cleansing to
Right.
the work at hand. So let's go into the fact that we had several projects that we felt had raised questions about eligibility. But we can, just looking at at this from the top, we can say that yes, we gave the green light to the Nahant Preservation Trust life-saving station roof. So we'll just do that as a matter of record. Number 2 is the Johnson School glass greenhouse. And there was a question about the eligibility on this, and Austin had kindly volunteered to look into this. So Austin, I wonder if you could sort of join us
Yes,
and,
thank you.
and share what you learned.
Sure. Yeah, I reached out to Stuart from the Community Preservation Coalition, who Lynn has relied on for a number of years. He was very helpful. I provided him with the eligibility applications for both the Johnson Elementary School greenhouse and the veterans flagpoles. And also gave him some background since both applicants were at that meeting and sort of explained what their intention was. That was very helpful. So Stuart wrote back, and as far as the greenhouse, his determination is that that is not eligible. And the reason is because it is a new, well, let me go to my notes here. So it is a structure, even though it's a glass structure, recreation occurring inside a structure is not eligible. And additionally, since the intent of it is to be used as an educational tool for students, that also makes it ineligible because CPA funds cannot supplement a school budget. So unfortunately, is as much as I wish that we're an eligible project,
Yeah.
this seems like a
Yeah.
great project.
Yeah.
It does not meet the eligibility requirements for the Community Preservation Act.
Ooh,
Well put. Yeah, we've
no,
got,
it is, it's a
we've
very,
got,
you know, it's funny, I walked through this sort of area around the Johnson School earlier today, looking at what has been done in terms of outdoor projects, the Boulder Scramble and various things. And there's a lot that's going on over there that is actually about, you know, the environment, ecology, sustainability, you know, engagement with young people and old people, anyone going by it. But this is pretty, this seems to be pretty unequivocal in terms of whether, in terms of ineligibility according to our grant program. I do want to give, I did see that Ron LeBeau is on the line, on the call, or on the line here. I want to give Ron an opportunity to sort of make any comment based on what he's heard from Austin tonight.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
good.
Good.
Hey, Ron, before you start, I just want to say that I thought you did a wonderful job of not just presenting the project, but demonstrating your own enthusiasm and your high and admirable goals for this project in terms of meeting the needs of people who didn't necessarily personally contribute to the greenhouse, but might be the benefactors of the results of the greenhouse, and the kids who would really have a ball and learn so much. So I hope we can see a way to help somehow, and let's talk it through. Now I'll throw the ball back to you.
I just want to thank you for your consideration. When I had sort of originally read the guidelines, I had quite a stretch to decide how that would equal recreation, but I was encouraged to apply. Obviously, the $40,000 commitment we have from a major foundation with some sort of background Nahant connections is a 1/3, and to raise 2/3 of the rest of it without a major contribution anywhere. I'm not sure exactly how that will happen, but I don't give up easy. My father didn't raise me to do that. My mother didn't expect me to do that. Didn't raise me either. So I just take it as a challenge. We were able to do it in Rockport with some local folks that were there in the summer contributing to it. I'm just not sure exactly who that group might be. So if anyone has connections that they can just relay to me to reach out to, the Garden Club is still waiting for their Christmas festivities to sort of finish up their planning before they could commit anything. But I really think it would be a stretch for them to anywhere be in a $40,000 range. I mean, I'm sure it's a smaller amount, but I would hope possibly an amount. We could downsize the project a little bit, but anything less than, let's say, $80,000 becomes sort of a futile effort in terms of what you're really trying to pull off and do. So I can go back to the foundation and plead my case and see what happens with that. But I mean, I appreciate what you've done. You've done tremendous work around the community, obviously, and we'll continue to do that. And hopefully I'll find a way to pull this off. So I appreciate everything, and we'll just move on.
Well, we appreciate your enthusiasm and your initiative, and really have been very pleased to be involved with helping out at the Johnson School in terms of, and the area, the recreation area in general over there. So good luck with this. Austin, I really do appreciate your thoughtful efforts to reach out to the coalition and to express this in as
The only
positive
parting
a way.
comment I would have is with regard to sort of budget realities and Proposition 2.5 and competing town organizations such as fire departments and police departments and schools for limited resources. The comment that came back as an opinion that you can't supplement school budgets, there's no way that I can see in building this year's school budget that you could ever think of putting in even a 1/3 match to be able to pull this off. So I think that's a comment that comes from a lack of understanding of constraints of budgets, especially in small towns that don't have large business. They don't have a lot of growth from year to year. They don't have a lot of increase in revenues to be able to commit to projects. And you can borrow, I assume, for fire trucks and police cars and that sort of thing, but you're not able to do that for greenhouses. And we have limited staff, 1 teacher per grade basically now. And we just need to maintain what we have. We have needs for things like a math and English language interventionist for kids that struggle. We can't find a way to fit that into the constraints of the budget. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's no different any school system you go to. But to say that you can't supplement a school budget, I think is a lack of understanding of how school budgets are limited in their resources. So,
Well, I think what the comment is, well, Austin, do you want to respond to that?
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Rob. I certainly appreciate what you're getting at. All department budgets are run very tight and always need help. But I think in this particular application, Stuart was saying specifically Community Preservation Act funds cannot be used to supplement any other department budget, I believe. I'm not sure that's the correct statement.
Austin, I think he was saying that we're not able to supplement a school budget for a non-qualifying expense. If the school were to look at its budget and see if any of the items already in the budget would alternatively qualify as independent proposals to the CPC, then that shift could be made, I think. Am I misunderstanding what you think he said?
Let me see.
For example, let's say the school budget had a line for just setting up a new outdoor recreation area. Instead of the school paying for it, they should petition the CPC to pay for it. What they've done here is petition the CPC to pay for a glass structure. And he's reading that relatively narrowly in terms of its recreation qualification.
I'd have to go back and look at the exact wording in the
Yeah.
eligibility application for this
Yeah.
project. I think what Stuart was referring to, well, what he said specifically was that one of the primary uses identified would be as an educational tool, and that is
Correct.
can't be
Right.
supplemented by the
Yep.
CPA funds.
Yep, right. But a volleyball court would be something different. Just to
Yes, because that falls
make
into
up an
recreation.
example.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm sorry, Rob, we didn't have better news for that. It did sound like a great project, and I appreciate your efforts to move it forward.
Yeah.
we'll just
Rob,
keep
are
plugging-
there
we'll
are
keep
there
plugging
state
away.
funds available for this sort of thing, you think?
Would there be what?
Any state funds available
Not that I can see, no.
or environmental, excuse me, environmental education organizations who might want to see kids get this firsthand experience, who would pitch in?
Yeah, we weren't able to identify any in Rockport. That doesn't mean they don't exist. There
Yep.
is the
Right.
Mass Cultural Council, but their applications aren't even open yet. So, I mean, I'm just going to keep working at it, and that's the way it'll be. So we'll see how we do.
All right, well,
I
very
thank you
good.
for your consideration. I thank you, Austin, for looking after it, and that's what I appreciate. So thank you very much.
Happy to. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you for coming to speak with us, Rob. We appreciate it. And good luck. Let's go on to the next one that was a question. Let me see. I'm just looking at the chart. We did approve the Housing Authority. So Ellen had communicated that to them. They're going for a full application. Next up was the American Legion Town of Nahant application for 2 flagpoles at Veterans Park. And there was a question about whether that was eligible, and Austin once again volunteered to take that on. So love to hear from you, Austin.
Yes, we do have better news for this project. It is eligible, and the explanation given was that because it is located in a park, dedicated as a park, open for recreational use, and flagpoles are a popular amenity found in many parks, and they do qualify as a capital improvement for rehabilitation of park land. Yes, it is eligible. Stuart did note if this was not a park, if somebody was seeking a flagpole outside a building, that would not be eligible. It meets eligibility because it's in an existing park.
Interesting. Okay.
All right, well, thank you. That's good news. The next one up, the planning board.
Wait, stop. Question.
Right.
So based on this, so is this one I should then, so here it is right here, this one on row 7.
Yes,
So wait, is the person who submitted that here? Who submitted that?
Dana
Sheehan is
Sheehan.
here and his hand is up. Dana, do you want to join us?
Yes, can everybody hear me?
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much to the committee and Austin for doing the background on this. And another question that came up was, how did that park become Veterans Park? I did some research, and it went back to 2000, the year 2000 town meeting. And that's when the park was designated the Veterans Park, and $5,000 was appropriated in the town meeting to build the park in general. So thanks so much for the flagpoles. And my next step is try to get the American Legion to match some of that. And the price tag there, we hope to do well in that budget and return some funds back to the CPC. We don't think it'll be that much. So those couple points, and thank you again. Was there any questions you had of me?
I think if you could just, I think you're being given the green light. And Ellen, would you just send Dana the application?
That's what I was gonna, that was where I was going, is do you want me to just send
If
an
we could do that.
official, we've determined I'll send you the formal, we've determined you're eligible, here's the link email.
Thank you, Ellen, and everybody. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome, Dana.
All right, very good. Thanks, Dana.
Thank you, Dana.
Okay, moving on. The next one up is the planning board. We can just scroll down a little bit so we could see it.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. So the planning board has made an application for $150,000 for the master plan. And Paul very kindly volunteered to communicate with the planning board applicants about questions of eligibility.
So I sent an email to Sheila Hamilton, who's the head of the planning board, and also to Michelle Capano, who I think somehow or other we opined was a moving force here. And I explained after thanking them for making the submission that we really wanted to understand exactly what the overall proposal was. Was this one of several parts, coming in on different years? And secondly, excuse me, I explained that we certainly had a history of encouraging people to apply to us for the funds to make careful plans for projects that ultimately would meet our criteria for funding. So that, and I think we have quite a number of them, not all of which have ever translated into projects that were specifically submitted to us for complete funding. But we thought that the planning process going into that was a worthy expenditure, one that might yield a better plan or produce other options. So I encouraged them to do two things, to send me a copy of the old outmoded plan that they intended to replace, and secondly, to identify objects in that plan which would eventually or which could qualify for our funding, and based on that, we would decide how much of the total endeavor we were really appropriately funding planning for. I know that's a little arcane, and I would certainly be happy to answer my fellow committee members' questions about this if I haven't made myself clear. I think I made myself clear in the email, and yet nevertheless, I got no response. So today, maybe a day late and a yard short, as they say, I got back to Sheila and said, Sheila and Michelle, and said, did I miss a response from you? We really want to hear from you. Are you planning on coming to the meeting tonight? Alternatively, it seems to me that that's going to be the major issue at tonight's meeting, helping people qualify, help people who've already applied for the preliminary grant to qualify for the real thing, answering questions, putting their proposal in best shape. And we're probably going to do that at least the next meeting. That's 2 weeks from tonight. And theoretically, we could do it at the January 13th meeting, which is before the deadline. So Sheila wrote back to me saying, sorry, didn't ignore you. Things came up. We'll try to deal with it at the planning board meeting on Thursday night. And that's everything I know.
So in the meantime, we are being joined tonight by Shannon Bianchi, and I see that Michelle is also on the line.
Terrific. Okay.
So I think let's give Shannon a chance to just add anything to what you've just offered. Shannon?
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
Sure. After that last email that you received, I think Sheila responded and told you that I would come.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I missed that. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So she's experiencing a family issue, and so she can't
Sure.
come tonight.
Sure.
And she kind of asked me to step in. Just to be transparent, I asked her to please send me the application because I have not been involved in
Right.
that process. Like, I haven't seen what she's submitted to you. The only thing that I've seen is what you put on the screen, that we're asking $150,000. And I did see the comments. So I'm authorized to speak to you all tonight. My name is Shannon Bianchi. I'm 14 Harborview Road. I'm the vice chairman of the Nahant Planning Board. And my take on the application is that it's going to actually be around $300,000. for the master plan. We're following the statute in MGL. If I could provide it for you, if you like. But the planning boards in towns in Massachusetts, they are required to do master plans, and ours is, I think, 38 years old. And so,
Something like that, yeah.
right. And the issue at hand is, can the CPC contribute? I'm the minority opinion actually on the board, and I don't believe you can. I think that because it's a comprehensive plan done by one consultant, and you almost need to have payment to one person, and so piecemealing it together with multiple studies might not work. And I think that's one of the debates that's actually going on in the planning board. So what we had discussed at our last meeting was, well, let's just ask. We'll come over. We'll say, look, the actual ask is actually 300, and that's spread out over 3 years. If the CPC can contribute to that in any way, now we're going to take a look at the lowlands. We're going to take a look at the Bear Pond, the whole Bear Pond ecosystem. So there's natural resource money expenditure there. There's open space money. There's recreation money with the golf course. The golf course might need a heavy lift in a few years, maybe a little renovations. So what, there are implications with certain chapters that you all might be able to contribute to, but because it's a comprehensive plan, it might not be the easiest and kind of best practice. And so that's my minority opinion. Michelle's here. Probably she could speak to the majority opinion as to the pros of funding this. I personally think that it would be better if we asked it as a budgetary item and ask the town, for support. Is it time to do the plan, to do a master plan? It's been 38 years. Do you trust the planning board now to do that? And if the town says sure, then we could do the master plan. If not, then we all know where we stand. That's my minority take. I'll give the floor to Michelle.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Shannon. Michelle?
Good evening, Michelle Capano, 29 Ocean Street. I'm a member of the planning board, and I've been assisting the chair, Sheila Hamilton, with just facilitating the application process. In starting this off, I went back and looked at previous CPC applications, and CPC has funded master plans previously for the planning board. Some of that work got started. It did not complete. My understanding is the remaining funds that were unexpended went back into the CPC budget. If I'm incorrect in that statement, please let me know.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Sure, Paul.
If you have any specific dates of when all that happened, that might clear up some of the quizzical look on Lynn's face, because
Well, I'm not even looking at my face. I'm glad you are. I'll just jump in and say, thank you, Michelle. There's been actually a number of applications from the planning board for the for the rights of way studies.
right.
And in fact, we haven't clawed back any of that money. We have actually raised the issue several times with Tony, the town administrator, and he has said, keep it open, keep it open. So I think there's probably $7,000 or $8,000 that has been, is still being carried for those applications.
Yeah, so Lynn, I went back and looked at the historical records for CPC, your yellow book that was published last year. And so that's the information and the data that I'm referencing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think we can be consistent on that. This is a very different application. This is the town master plan. I appreciate what Shannon has shared with us, that this could be more like $300,000. The application we received was for $150,000. And we just need to make sure that the criteria for funding that we are able to sort of assist with, which is in 3 areas. Shannon has already mentioned one part of it, open space and recreation, but also community housing and historic preservation. When it comes to things like business development or, rethinking, real estate, assessments or, administrative organizational issues in terms of the town, that's really outside of our purview. That's why, Paul's inquiry was to say, tell us how this master plan would specifically meet our funding criteria. And, that remains a topic. So I understand you have a meeting coming up, was it on Thursday? And maybe that's the time to sort of really delve into this application and decide whether the planning board as a group feels that the application is really eligible according to our guidelines.
Thanks, Lynn. I really can't speak any further until,
Yeah.
we have our meeting on Thursday. So I think
Exactly.
we'll probably come back to you with, more clarity on, the objectives that we want to achieve, as well as the areas we believe that, some of this funding could be covered.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. We'll sort of encourage you and Shannon and the committee or the planning board to sort of tackle that and get back to us. Help me, Paul, we meet again when?
2 weeks from tonight.
Yeah. So that would certainly give time.
That gives you plenty of time. Then can I add something? And that is that our expectation for plans from excuse me, from applicants is that their plans really outline the basis for and the details of projects that we could subsequently plan. So pay for rather. So for example, you do an assessment of restoration of open space in areas where there's overgrowth of non-natives. You come up with a specific plan. You don't ask for the money. You just ask for the money for the plan. But the plan, once completed, is a roadmap for the specific plan, the specific project request. And that's the kind of detail I think we are expecting. It's not a list of 12 major items that are going to be dealt with in the master plan, of which 3 of them could conceivably, if worked over and detailed, become CPC submissions. That's really not sufficient. The work needs to be put in the planning stage. And if I hear what Shannon is saying, that's not the level at which you are working. That's not the level of detail at which you're working. Am I right about that or wrong?
You are correct.
What do you think, Michelle?
I'm going to refrain from responding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean, I don't know is a fine answer too.
Yeah, I think you've laid it out, Paul, and I think they're meeting on Thursday. They're hearing our concerns. And we'll look forward to a response.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd love to get a look at that master plan if somebody can send me a copy. The old one. I'd love to. I'm very interested now. I'm getting more and more curious by the minute as to what's in that thing.
Madam Chairman, Chairwoman, if I may, to answer that, an alternate member on the planning board has recently discovered a couple master plans or some like plan, the plan for Nahant or something like that, and it's dated back to like the 50s and then the 60s.
Mhm.
And so he's put it on like flash drives. And so we have to find a way to like share that with everybody because it's amazing stuff. It's from the 50s. It's amazing. And it's like the same issues as we're dealing with today. I
Yeah,
know.
right.
I'm not surprised.
crazy.
Shannon.
Why are we not surprised, right?
I know, right? Right.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. And I almost feel like apologizing for taking up your time.
No, not at all. Absolutely not at all.
You know, we'll get back to you with a more detailed response. If you hear from us again, it will definitely be more detailed and precise.
Well, yeah, I'd love to
It'll be
hear,
an appropriate
just for
filing.
purposes of closure, I'd love to hear from you again, one way or the other.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Lynn, could I just make a comment? Sorry,
Sure,
before we
please,
get off
Austin.
this topic. I did a quick search of the database for Nahant for master plan and did get some hits online on some CPA grants from Nahant in 2005 and 2006 regarding a master plan. I don't know if that was through the planning board, but it was specific funding as part of a master plan targeting the segment that addresses housing needs and open space.
Yeah.
So I think that,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
kind of alludes to what Paul was talking about, that, you know, potentially segments could be receive some funding.
It's certainly possible. And you know, the question is how it can be structured, quite honestly. On the other hand, it becomes very clear if the town is funding it, then, you know, it's all sort of it's a little bit less complicated.
Yes, yeah.
Our funding actually is not really designed to supplement the town budget. It's or to substitute for the town budget. It's designed to supplement, to augment, to add value, but not to take the place of the town, what is appropriate town appropriations.
Right.
And if we can just scroll down further. We have notified the Nahant Public Library that there, as well as the Pleasant Street Playground, and then the Bailey's Hill Phase 2, that those three are eligible. They've received the notifications and will be proceeding with full applications. But if we continue to scroll down, I just want to remind us that in addition to needing to set aside administrative funds, that we need to set aside monies for the 3 bonds that are already obligated. And that puts some kind of constraint on our funding capability. Because that's $138,000 of money that is already called for. And we can see that in terms of the funding that we have available, you know, for the projected fiscal year 26, we have $432,258 that will be coming in from this 3% Nahant surcharge, matched by the 40% that is now estimated as the state match. And we know we have 134,000 and change in the general reserve and 95,000 and change in the housing reserve. So we're going to have to make some tough decisions here, as always. That's why we're encouraging our applicants to think about other funding opportunities to sort of add to the mix, so that it's not entirely being funded by community preservation. it's great, for instance, that the Nahant Preservation Trust has already said that they are coming up with $30,000 in match for that roof, and we're going to encourage them to seek some additional funding as well. And the same is certainly going to be said for the public library.
Lynn, am I right that we can spend next meeting on the, what's it, 16th? And then even one more meeting on the 13th of January, doing the sort of thing we've done tonight?
We can, but honestly, I hope we won't need to meet
Agreed,
on the 13th, because
agreed,
on the 27th, we're getting the applications.
correct.
So
Right.
what I really hope is that for our meeting on the 16th, we're going to be hearing from the planning board. They'll tell us really
Right.
what
Right,
they're up to and
Yep.
how that application meets our criteria.
yep,
And then we could be silent for, a month or so, because we will have some real work to do
right,
when we get the applications.
right. Remind me, what's the deadline for the applications? That's why I went on the Nahant website tonight
I know,
and
it's not
wound
so
up
easy.
unable to figure it out.
I sent you an email. I already emailed Dana the approval, and I CC'd you, Paul, so you would see what it looked like. And it has that detail. I think it's
Oh, good.
January 27th. Yeah.
It's
Good.
January 27th.
That's the
Yeah.
same day we
And,
meet, isn't it?
That's right.
Oh,
So we
okay.
get just the same as we did on the 21st. We get them. I actually
Okay,
crunch them into the spreadsheet. But I think we've already, with this two-part process, we are seeing how this is beginning to shape up.
yeah.
mm-hmm.
So
Would you like me to send the official email to Rob saying, unfortunately, we regret to inform you that your project is not eligible? Do you want me to do that just to close the loop?
I think that would be
Even
a
though we
real
told them.
courtesy. And
I think I'd leave.
if I could
Lynn,
think,
may I make a recommendation that Ellen can send that, but maybe she should leave the door open, that if he, if they have some sort of if they have some sort of idea about how they could
Some kind
qualify
of
that,
workaround.
yeah, a workaround, if you want it, whatever you want to call it, that we do
I
have
could say
time to
something like,
reconsider it.
yeah,
well,
based
I'm
on-
not quite sure that I understand the value of that. I appreciate the enthusiasm. I honestly do. But we've already heard that building a structure is really not
Right,
CPC
right.
eligible.
Yeah, but on the other hand, Lynn, this is the first that he had 15 seconds to respond to the judgment that was made, unless I'm missing something. I think we owe him the courtesy of thinking it over and seeing if he can structure this a different way. If he can come up with something, I think we should listen to it. I doubt that we'll come to a different determination, and I'm not encouraging him to, but I wouldn't shut the door on it.
I defer to Lynn. I'll do whatever you both want. I'm not stepping in this. I really appreciate the sentiment as well. But I mean, you say you don't want to shut the door, except the door is shut, and it's not our fault.
Yeah, thank you, Ellen. I'm actually was trying to think about how to respond. Paul, I love the idea of enthusiasm and of encouraging people, but why encourage something that we actually can't legitimately fund under this program?
Right, as stated, as structured.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing that you could do differently would be to say, dear Rob, regret to inform you that based on your application and based on your proposed application, this project is not eligible for CPA funding. If there was any feedback you received that made you think you could restructure this project in a way that would be eligible for funding, we would be open to reviewing that for you. But as it stands, it is not eligible, if that's what you're trying to get at. But I don't want to install false hope either.
Well, I guess it's the false hopes that I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather have, Rob, who is actually sincere and capable, be able to actually pursue funding that is actually.
Yeah, a
actually
more
gonna
productive,
work.
yeah,
Yeah.
more productive source. I
Yeah.
agree. I don't want to discourage him from that. Agreed.
So, I mean,
I think then the email should just say, I think you're right. I think it'll be just like, we regret to inform you that based on your application and the guidelines of our grants, we are unable to fund your project. We, thought it was a great idea. Good luck. And best wishes.
Yeah, no, I
something
think
like
that's,
that.
I
Something
think that's
like
very,
that.
yeah. No, I think that's
I-
very
I-
nice.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
think-
fine.
I think that's fine. I
I'll-
think he
Okay,
heard
so I'll
it
do
tonight.
that. He did, and he wasn't surprised.
No, I don't think he was,
Right.
because he probably tried it in Rockport too, and it probably didn't work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I don't have anything on my list of things that need to be done, and I don't know if anyone else has any new or old business that we should bring up.
Lynn, I just want to correct a statement I made at our last meeting regarding the public library work that is proposed. In our last meeting, I see it in the note there, I had stated that I had a differing opinion on where that water penetration was coming from. And I just want to sort of correct that I had an opinion on where the water was coming from, but I had not seen the report that the library has received or from the architects that they're working with, so that was really an inappropriate comment for me to make, since I don't actually know what they think the water is coming from. But I did speak with Nori again. I went back to the library, I believe it was 2 weekends ago when we had some heavy rain finally. And I went all through the attic looking in the areas of the roof where I thought water might be penetrating. And I did not find any fresh leaking in there from the roof in those particular areas. Anyway, I just want to make that statement. It wasn't really appropriate for me to question the work that's being done there because I haven't even seen that or their investigations. So I just want to correct that. So, thank you.
Well, thank you, Austin. I think we might want to change the language on that note, Ellen. I have to say, I appreciate your diligence, and I actually have my own theories about what the issue is.
Right here.
But
the
I
just say that, and I'll just say you would go in to see the property.
yeah, that's
How's
right.
that?
But what I will invite you, Austin, when the time comes, there's going to be some exploratory opening. And I think I'm anxious to go up into the attics when that's done. So we'll invite you as well.
Thank you. Yeah, the Masons, I think, had been there within the last week, and blanking on his name, the architect's name. He was going to be there as well. I missed him, but
Richard Smith.
yes, yeah, thank you. I was hoping to catch him and speak with him a little bit, but another time.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I will
I'll second.
that motion.
Okay. All right, roll call vote. In favor of adjournment, Paul,
Oh, aye.
Ellen.
Aye.
Ellen,
Hi,
great.
can you hear
Dave,
me?
Yeah.
Austin,
Aye.
chair votes aye. We are adjourned.
See you in 2 weeks.
Thanks,
Thank-
everyone.
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you so much for the work that you've been doing. It's really been wonderful.
Thank you, Lynn.
Okay. Good night now.